Hello and welcome in, all you O-Niners, PCHers, Neptune Pirates, Junior Private Detectives, Fighting Fitzpatricks, and newly acquitted murderers to Life on Mars, the Veronica Mars Rewatch podcast where we go through episode by episode. I'm Brenton.
And I'm Emily, and I'm going to redact any invitations to acquitted murderers.
I don't know. He got off. He must be a nice guy.
No. No.
You know, you don't think? Yeah, I believe the court of public opinion has thus cleared Aaron.
I believe that Aaron Echolls is scum.
Yes.
And therefore he is not invited to my party.
Yeah. He's not invited.
He's not invited.
Yeah.
And neither are any other murderers. You know what? If you've done the murder, you're not invited to this party. Yeah. Unless you were one of the women from an episode of Snapped where my mother and I watched it and we went, yeah, you know, some men deserve killing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very rare and only in the cases of domestic violence and abuse. And even then, probably not the best idea.
We can admire them from afar.
Exactly. We don't condone murder here.
No, we do not. Yeah, strongly against murder. So if you thought this was a pro-murder podcast, then, you know.
You're wrong.
Yeah. Unless
you're one of those weird pro-life people that tries to tell us that, like, abortion is murder, because that's a lie as well. That's wrong. It's a clump of cells.
Right.
So we're pro-choice and anti-murder over here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no on the murder
It's very
column.
easy to have both of those at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you would think. Or at least in this, you know, realm. I mean, these people keep trying to come in, and I keep accidentally inviting them, having to rescind the invites. But we're going to be talking about season 2, episode 21, Happy Go Lucky. Lucky he went. Bye-bye.
And I will say, if there's a little trigger warning on this, just because, like, it does talk about a school shooting.
Yeah.
And it's a lot.
I forgot about all that, and then it was, like, happening. It's like, oh, no.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what happens either.
Yeah, it was like, oh, shit. Like, we're really doing this.
I remember the first time we watched it, I was like, I don't like this at all.
No. And it kind of comes out of left field and is like resolved super fast. So it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's very nonchalant about it, which is, we'll explain as we go, but also problematic and a testament that even decades later, we still have gunmen walking into schools, and it's a problem we need to solve. Like, you know, maybe we don't need guns.
Yeah. Seems like.
I think. Was it Australia that, like, they had one mass shooting and then everyone was like, here, you can have my gun?
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, be a good human. You don't need a gun. We don't need guns. I'm very staunchly anti-murder.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what guns are for? Murder.
Yes, they are. Yeah, even if people want to, like, hunt and use it for sport for animals.
You're murdering the animal.
Exactly.
And I mean,
There's no nice reason to have a gun.
There is no peaceful reason to have a weapon.
No. Mm-mm.
I used to have a sticker in high school that said bombing for peace is like fucking for virginity.
Very good.
I thought it was very edgy.
It is very edgy, especially in high school.
What can I say?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was pretty cool.
Exactly. Very cool.
Well, you know me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Rebel without a cause.
Especially during that time.
Well, yeah.
You know, height of the Iraq War.
Yeah. We also had endless war stickers.
Oh, there you go.
Endless war. Endless war.
Yeah, who knew that, you know.
It would actually
10 years
be
later,
endless. Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, good times. Just like Neptune, where
all it's early Iraq war.
Exactly.
Set the scene.
Exactly. And wouldn't you know it that everybody's bad decisions throughout the season come home to roost.
And some decisions that weren't made. It's not everyone's bad decision. Some people were victims.
Oh, right, but I mean, like, the people who made bad decisions and, like, stuff that has been, like, telegraphed from, like, miles away, like, who knew it would blow up in their face, all happened this episode.
Shit hits the fan.
Yeah, exactly.
One could say there's a shit explosion.
Totally. Sure. Yeah, shit explosion. So, like, I mean, with the trial, it's just like, oh, yeah, of course this would happen this way.
Yes, which is where we start at the Echolls trial.
Yes.
We open with Aaron Echolls giving his Bill Clinton, I did not have sexual relations with that woman speech. It's how it sounds.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very much like I did not, like, sure, we made out and we did some things, and she is
I did have the affair, but
so is it only like I have so many issues with our definition of rape and like all of that, because it's like, yeah, he admits to like making out and fooling around with her, but like, oh, because they didn't have sex with her, it's not a crime.
I don't think that it's saying that, because I think it's that's just not what he's on trial for. Could they then try and file, because that's not what they read at the end. They read all the like murder charges. So like, could he be brought up on like statutory rape charges? I'm sure.
I thought they also find him not guilty of statutory rape.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I thought so.
I thought it was all the murder charges.
I thought it was all of it. Anyway, we'll get to that at the end, but
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, no, I didn't have sex with her, and I broke up with her on that day, and then she stole my Oscar.
Yes.
And then she went home, and then Duncan came out in a rage, and then I left. And I'm like,
Right.
of course, blame the boy who moved to another continent. Because we don't know where he is yet, right? We get that at the end of this the next episode?
Well, we do know he went south.
Yes. He's south of the equator.
Yes.
That
he was in Mexico and then he drove off.
Yes. And he's like, let's blame Donkey because he's not here.
Yeah.
Which is...
And it all adds up to like the cover up that the Canes did and the stuff they found in the yard there.
Yeah, they already did the dirty work.
Exactly.
Though it's interesting that they found the Oscar so much later after the Canes moved out, is it not?
Yes. Well, because it was dug up. But yeah, it makes sense that Aaron wouldn't get charged. I think that can follow a reasonable line where it's like rich white people, especially like celebrities, are able to get off easier, like in court with the hiring good help, kind of all these things. But the fact that the show has been slowly skidding to this and like really telegraphing how badly things are going to go bad is like really frustrating.
Yeah. Well, and he tried to murder Veronica.
Yes.
And her father. It's just a lot.
Right.
So thanks to our boy Leo, we don't have the tapes.
Well, yeah.
Veronica,
and thanks to our boy Logan for erasing them.
Yes, Veronica and Logan have to give testimony of what they saw.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's like, Keith, I feel like you should know better that like an eyewitness testimony is never going to cut it as much as like the physical evidence.
Well, I think Keith did say that.
No, but like throughout this episode, it's just like, no, once they hear you and Logan, once they hear the testimony, they'll know.
Yeah, I think, it's just being hopeful and optimistic.
I guess so. Yeah.
But so we leave after Aaron gives his little speech, and then Keith is like, are you ready to testify tomorrow? Do you need to practice again? Remember to like be ready, Veronica. And she's like, yeah, no one can rile me. I'm unrileable. And like, I want to be there and look him in the eye when they lock his ass up.
Yeah. Admirable. But also another thing, it was just like, no, we're telegraphing how bad this is going to go. You shouldn't have said this. It's now going to go bad.
Foreshadowing.
And then same with Keith.
Yeah. So then we go to high school. And Gia comes up and gives us cupcakes for saving her life.
Yes, wearing a pink blazer.
And she's like, let's study together.
No, sorry, black blazer.
I don't remember what she was wearing. I just remember the cupcakes looking fun.
Yeah. There was a couple Gia outfits that were very strong this episode. This was one of them.
Gia has some great outfits.
Indeed.
And she's like, Veronica, let's study together. Veronica's like, cool, whatever. I'm studying right now because I need to get perfect grades so that I can get the Kane scholarship because I want to go to Stanford. And so Gia leaves under the agreement that Veronica will go over to study tomorrow night or something like that.
Yeah.
And then our good friend Wallace and his lover Jackie show up. And she's like, please go away. I need to study. And they're bothering her. And they go to Jackie goes to get milk to have with the cupcakes because Veronica's sharing the cupcakes with them to make them shut up because she needs to study. And
Wallace is excited. He's got the scholarship. He does not need to try.
Yeah, he's got his Hearst scholarship to Hearst. He's going to play basketball. He doesn't need to try.
Yep.
He's like, cool, whatever. Like, I'm just here to have a good time with my lady and my best friend.
I got senioritis. I don't have to try. It's cool.
And Veronica's like, okay, well, I need to study. And then Weevil comes up and he's like, do you got a minute? And Veronica's like, no, I'm trying to study. Which I really resonate with this. It's like when you're reading and like 4 different people come up and ask you a question. Or like if you've ever worked like a minimum wage, like specifically like a server job, like a restaurant job. And you're finally on your fucking like 10-minute break and you're just like in the back, like chilling. And like 5 different people come back to ask you a question and you're like, I didn't get to rest at all.
Right. Or if you've been at work in an office and you're trying to finish something up and like 5 different people come over and try and ask you about something else.
Yes. And so Weevil's like, I need help in algebra.
Yes.
I need to graduate
tutoring.
because my grandma wants to watch me walk across the stage and I just need to do this, so I need help passing algebra. And Veronica's like, I can't help you because I need to study. Pardon, that was my mother. And then Veronica says no, and then all of a sudden Lucky shows up with a fucking gun. Outside. Once again, everyone's eating outside because this is a school that does not have an indoor cafeteria as far as I can tell because it's in San Diego. Or Balboa County.
Yes.
Jackie pulls out her phone to try to call for help while the gunman's standing on a table yelling things.
Yeah, because he got fired.
He got fired. He's
Which,
like,
who knew that would happen after like threatening a student with a knife?
Yeah, he had a weapon. Like there should have been security escorting him out when he got fired.
Yeah, totally.
And then he's like, where's my girl Gia? And Veronica's trying to hide Gia because Gia's freaking out.
Yeah.
And since Jackie pulled out her phone, Lucky goes to shoot his gun at her and Wallace tackles him.
Yes, we see action hero Wallace creeping up.
Yeah, and then Lucky and Wallace fight, and then Lucky like has Wallace down, I guess, and he shoots at Wallace, but it's a blank. And then a campus security officer comes up behind him and shoots Lucky with a real gun.
Yep.
And so Lucky dies in front of all of us.
Yeah, which is a great thing that we never visit.
Yeah, that's traumatizing, right?
Just like, yeah, Lucky's dead. And later in the episode, Jackie's like, my life's never been better.
Well, we haven't gotten to her full backstory yet, but...
No, yeah, I know. But like, at the same time, it's just like, Jesus.
She's had a rough life.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I would feel like janitor with a gun would rank pretty bad, but,
Yeah. It's not good. And school bus of classmates going over a hill.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening.
She was not technically a student at that time, so.
Yeah, she was. Wasn't she already there?
Mm-mm.
Oh, she doesn't come until later?
Nope. Second episode, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, so she missed all that.
I see.
Only the aftermath.
But yeah, it's just amazing that decades after this was filmed even, we still have no protections and like anything against gun violence in schools.
No. Yeah. Campus security officers are not the answer there because he still got to the school and still had a gun.
Yeah.
But
this is your reminder to make sure you're registered to vote and make sure you research who you're voting for to make sure that, maybe they have some strong opinions on gun control and gun reform and background checks because Lucky shouldn't have been able to get a gun.
And I think you will probably need to look local for that one because I don't think you're going to have a federal dog in that race. Oh God, where was I going with this? Oh, well, that's all right.
My PSA to remind everyone to vote really threw you off.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, something about schools, but that's all right.
So then we go home. Veronica and Keith are talking. Keith goes, I got into Lucky's apartment.
Yeah, because we get the Woody press conference afterwards.
Oh, I skipped the press conference.
Yeah, Woody being like, yeah, I don't know why he was like, he came onto the school and was like acting like crazy like that. Like he was a very unstable person. It's just like, well, is it true that he was like targeting your daughter? And it's just like, oh, I have no idea why he would do that.
Yeah. And so Keith is like, yeah, I got into Lucky's apartment. I found that he was emailing Woody off of all these random anonymous emails, and he's got something like some bone to pick with Woody, and we don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, so I know Woody's going to be out on tomorrow night or whatever, and so I'm going to break in and
he's at the Kiwanis luncheon.
And go onto his computer because find an old computer in his house so you can get into his email to pull emails off the server. He explains email in a way that I'm sure it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure that might actually work. That there's a data stored of the deleted email somewhere on the email server.
But these aren't even like deleted. It's like, oh, he was like, oh, if you go on a computer that's an older computer and it hasn't gotten the update from the server that these have been deleted, then they'll still be there.
Oh, I had written down these like, oh, if you find if you're able to just get on there, you can access the email server, which would have the deleted emails. But either way, when she does look at the emails later, they're just there.
Yeah. So Veronica's like, well, why should you break in when I was invited to go study at Gia's house?
Mm-hmm.
So
cut out the middle, Keith.
Exactly. And then we go over to Jackie, who visits her dad in his hospital. And she's like, hi, Dad. Wallace saved me. And Terrence Cook is like, I should have been the one to save you, not Wallace. And she's like, my life is good right now, Dad.
Dad, you don't go to school.
Yeah. And then we cut over to another father-child relationship. And Logan visits his dad in jail.
Yes.
And
always a great idea.
Yeah, and Aaron's like,
but it sounded like Aaron summoned him. That was the vibe I got. He's like, I wanted to see you, and it's just like, why would you respond?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and more hubris in this scene from Logan. There's just like, yeah, so what? Like, because he's trying to. Aaron tries to get him to like not to differ with his testimony and like be like, just pretend like you didn't see anything on those tapes. And then Logan, because if you swear, like if you tell him that you testified that you destroyed the tapes, that's like a federal crime.
You could get it's a felony.
Yeah. And Logan's just pretty much just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, hubris, thinking that that'll be enough. Eyewitness testimony is famously unreliable.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. Tearing my hair out at this every time.
I know. Every time the tapes get destroyed, you just lose it.
Yes, because it's just like, oh my God, this is the only thing.
And it was your boy. It was Leo who sold them.
Yes. Idiot Leo for doing that. Idiot Logan. I'm more annoyed with Logan for destroying them because you got them back. You had them. You could have run it across the goal line, and instead you took a magnet to it.
You just don't want to find anything wrong with your buddy Leo.
No, I mean, Leo's definitely, he's got issues. I love Leo, but Leo, come on. But just the act of retrieving the tapes back and then destroying them is just infuriating to me.
The pain in your voice. So then we go to school, and Cassidy, a.k.a. Beavers' car had been keyed.
Without adding car at the end, I thought his name is now Beavers.
Oh, no, Beavers' car had been keyed with some girl's name on it, saying like she was a bitch or a slut or something. Yeah. Some derogatory term towards women.
Mm-hmm. And Amber does not deserve this slur. I don't know who she is, but...
And Beaver's friend Hart is with them, and it's like, hi, Veronica. And Veronica's like, excuse? I don't know you. But so then Veronica's like, I've got an idea for how I can get this repaired.
Real quick, but like Hart says like, oh yeah, like don't worry, Veronica, I won't say anything, like something weird like that, and she just goes like, huh, and then like cuts over. Like he says like some weird thing about like keeping a secret, and then it's just like glossed over and like goes back. So keep that in your mind.
Does he?
Mm-hmm. Because then she like looks at him after he's like, hey, it's Hart, and she's like, okay.
Yeah, she's like, okay, and he's
like, and he does like something. He's like, don't worry, Veronica, I won't say anything.
I don't remember that.
He 100% does. So just put a little pin in that.
I'm gonna need to rewatch that because it's not that I don't believe you. It's just that that's not how I remember that. The truth is out there at all.
Now let me tell you, they've received radio signals that were not from Earth.
Oh my god.
But yes, so just remember that. That's probably gonna come up.
Yeah. Okay. But
as she puts in quotes, if it's real.
Rewatch a scene. I just remember him being like, she's like, I don't know you, and I was like, oh, he just thinks she's pretty, and some boy who knows her.
No, it's like some weird vague thing of like, I know what you did, it's okay.
I know what you did.
Yeah, no, it doesn't say that. It's okay, Veronica, like I won't say anything.
I don't remember the I won't say anything. I just remember that it's okay, like you don't know me.
No, he says some weird thing like that, and she goes, what?
Oh.
And then Weevil comes in and I need algebra.
No, he does not. That is not how that scene happened. Doesn't she just see Weevil on the other side and is like, oh, I've got an idea for how you can get your car repaired?
Yes, that's what it is. I like much better. You go, algebra, algebra, algebra.
I don't think I trust any of your retelling so far.
It's like Kathy where she says chocolate, chocolate, chocolate.
Just saying, I don't know if I can't trust you to be honest about Weevil. I don't know what you know about Hart.
Okay, well, the next scene, they're on their motorcycle ride.
He's full of lies.
But back after the scene that did happen. I swear to God.
Well, anyway, Veronica's like, yeah, you should help Weevil with his algebra. And then we go to Gia. We're having our study date.
Okay, weird. One thing, real quick. Every time I hear Gia, I can't help but hear the Chia Pet theme song in my head.
Really?
Yeah. Gia.
I don't think that at all.
Every time.
Huh.
Sorry, but you can continue.
That
didn't happen.
It took me like a while to get to like where Weevil was normal. If not, I sang the Weevils Wobble, but they don't fall down song in my head.
So there you go.
But that's just my brain. You've met my brain. It's weird.
And meet mine. Gia.
Well, I think Hart knows it.
It looks like Scooby-Doo.
Whatever secret you and Hart are into.
I don't have a secret with Hart. He has a secret with Veronica, and Veronica does not know the secret. What could it be if it's real? I swear to God.
Considering you're like agnostic at best, I don't take that.
Well, now I'm since I'm being cornered, it's like, what do I remember?
I just don't remember that. Like I said, I'm not saying it wasn't there. I just have zero recall of that. So we're studying with Gia, and Gia gets on her computer and she's like, oh my God, I had 1,000 MySpace friends and now I'm down to like 900. And I'm like, same, bitch.
Yeah. Poor Gia. Hopefully it wasn't someone in her top 8.
Well, I don't even remember like how you got rid of friends. I guess the same as you do on Facebook,
yeah,
but
probably.
you know, imagine it a lot more glitchy and
with emo songs playing every time you loaded up a profile.
Some of us put some very, very robust musical taste on our. You didn't use MySpace?
I did.
Oh, what were your songs on your profile?
It was definitely emo songs from, because that was the time. So it would have been like my freshman year. So probably like Rise Against, AFI, stuff like that. Probably Blink-182 maybe.
So I usually had some sort of like pop punk emo. You know what I mean? Like a peppy emo. Like it was never like the real sad emo song. It's like the first song. For a long time I had Big Girls Don't Cry by Fergie. I don't know why. It's a really
You liked it?
It's a really melodic song.
Yeah.
And because you could do more than one in a row towards the end.
Right. Yeah, you could have like the playlist set up pretty much.
And then usually I'd put like some song that a boy I liked had on their page as like the third one. So then it was like, you know, like, hey, she likes what I like. Therefore, I like what she likes. And if I found a guy friend or a guy or someone I knew from school who had a song from mine on theirs, I was like, seems like he might have good taste.
When you navigate to his page and he's got Fergie at number 1.
Fergie's never number 1. I feel like, yeah, it was that. There was like Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy. So there's some good Fall Out Boy up there.
I probably had a Panic at the Disco at some point on there.
I'm trying to think of.
Oh God,
Avril Lavigne.
That's a good one. Yeah,
Avril Lavigne.
I did too. That was one of the first songs I think I downloaded off LimeWire.
Avril Lavigne.
Skater Boy, yeah.
That's fair. When I was younger, my older cousin, one of the few times I saw my older cousins who were sisters hang out together with me, because usually if I hung out with one, it was separate from the other. One's 2 or 3 years older than me, and one's about 5 years older than me.
They had a big divider in the house, right?
Honestly, their bedrooms share a wall, and it really feels like it.
Very funny.
But I hung out with one, or I hung out together. They're just two people that are very different from each other.
It is funny how that happens. I had friends when I was like young, so like maybe 3rd grade or something like that. But they're like brothers, and so sometimes it would be like, oh, I'm just hanging out with like this brother today, like the other brother's just off somewhere else.
Yeah, they are my cousins, so I feel like it's less. You know what I mean? Like it's less friendship weird because it's like stuck with me anyway.
Or it's like, okay, family's over.
Well, and I was the baby of the family, so I was always passed around to someone. It just, didn't matter who. But one of the times we all hung out.
Take her.
I like to think I was coveted and beloved. But you take that on as you will. But we rewrote Skater Boy to be a song about an anti-George W. Bush song.
Later.
We had, she turns on TV. Guess what she sees? George Bush peeing in a tree.
Very good.
Thank you. It was early work of mine, and I was the youngest in the room, but I'd like to think I contributed a lot of the colorful imagery.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
I wonder if my cousin still has it. I don't know where she would have put it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. LimeWire's defunct now. So.
I don't know, though. I found out that she kept all the letters I used to write to her when I traveled, my sentimental bitch. We love
Sincerely, your
sentimental bitch. I'm going to sign letters from now on.
There you go.
But, yeah, Skater Boy was your first LimeWire download?
Yeah, it's something like that. I think at least that's the one I remember with the most clarity of downloading first.
I feel like, yeah, maybe that, or like a I got into like the Reliant K, like Christian rock stuff for a while, but like not like Christian rock, you know what I mean? Like the
like
stuff,
Switchfoot.
Yeah, the stuff that was like questionably Christian. Jesus might be there.
Well, it was like the lyrics were Christian, but like the music wasn't necessarily.
Exactly. What's Christian music?
A lot more slower and gospel-y, but it's got like acoustic guitar behind it and drums. Yeah. That was like the fun peppy mass. It's like, hey, they have a full band, and look, those kids are like kind of close to you in age, and it's just like it's still the same fucking songs.
I used to go to a different church's vacation Bible school in summer because they did a junior high program, and in junior high, I thought the boy who was the drummer for the band was really cute. Because he was in high school, big year gap, 2-year gap.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that was huge.
But then we'd always go to a water park at the end, and they always made us wear like shirts and shorts over our bathing suits. And I was like, I'm going to drown at this water park because this is too much clothing.
That is a lot of clothing.
I would just leave mine somewhere and then take it off and put it back on when I went back by the adults.
Smart.
They didn't know me. It's fine.
Yeah.
But enough about my junior high water park adventures and MySpace, and back to Gia, who
And espionage.
and espionage. I have less MySpace friends, and Veronica's like, we should do a practice test, not go on MySpace. And then she's like, oh, my computer is broken. Can I use one of yours? And Gia's like, oh yeah, there's one in the guest room. So Veronica goes in the guest room to pull the emails.
Mm-hmm.
And Veronica finds a bunch of emails, forwards them to her dad, and then she
Yeah,
finds some
with
like voicemails
Yep,
and like
totally.
voice notes.
Yeah, with attachments.
And she goes and like plays one out loud. It's kind of loud. And it sounds like Woody was molesting boys that worked for the team.
Yes, very dark.
Yeah.
This was something, as we watched it before, when you mentioned last night, you're like, oh, I forgot about this. I'm like, oh, I thought we were being elliptical about this on like earlier podcasts.
Oh, when I'm like, yeah, it's real weird that he's real creepy to Logan.
Uh-huh.
Like, I was just like, no, like, I thought that was weird.
Right, I thought we were doing like a wink wink, like, oh, yeah, uh-huh. It is weird because...
No.
Nope, yeah, it is, that's dark.
Yeah, I just, second time around, completely forgot.
Totally. But it is something that you can't see coming. You know Woody's creepy, and I think outside that, something's up with Woody, but I think outside of like his interaction with Logan, there's nothing like really telling.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Logan is the kind of thing that tells us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm proud of myself for catching it, even though in theory I already knew this because I've seen this before. Zero recollection. But then Woody comes in the room while Veronica's sending the files, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? And she's
Being
like,
very creepy.
My computer died. I'm just using this to take a practice test. And he's like, oh, how'd you do? And she's like, huh? And then he's like, on your test, are you as smart as you think you are? She's like, I hope so. I'm like, that's nice and creepy.
Uh-huh.
And then Gia was in the kitchen making them study fuel, aka ice cream sundaes that looked so good.
I also wrote that down. I'm like, it's sad that all Gia wanted to do is just like eat some ice cream together.
Oh, I meant to look for, when we were shopping on Whole Foods, I wanted to do ice cream sundaes because we got ice cream and we have chocolate, but I wanted to look for a dairy-free whipped cream that didn't have any of my like basically like an oat dairy whipped cream because
Okay.
everything else I'm allergic to. Because I feel like that would be delicious.
Hopefully.
And I love whipped cream, but it's really hard to eat whipped cream when you can't eat a lot of dairy.
Yeah.
It's not good for you.
No. Yeah. It's in the name.
The cream.
Cream.
I was like, what's not good about whipped?
Yeah, it's in the song too.
Oh my God, Whippet's all about whipped cream? There's a Cool Whip?
It's actually about Whippets.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all I know is I was like, damn, Gia makes a good ice cream sundae. And
Yeah.
Veronica's like, oh, I gotta go. Sorry, I'm getting a migraine.
Veronica, you suck up your uncomfortableness and eat that ice cream.
Yeah, Gia's being a good friend. But I get it. You got to get out of there.
Yeah, I would 100% get the fuck out of there. You don't know how creepy he's being. Apparently, he'd only had an inkling of what might be going on at this time anyway. He doesn't put the pieces together until later.
Yeah, he really
He
does.
was just being creepy.
Yeah, he's just a weird man.
Mm-hmm.
And he's even weirder the more we hang out with him.
A pedophile.
Yeah. And so then Veronica goes home and her dad listen to the calls, and it sounds like someone's voice was edited out. And
Yes. There are two voices on the note, but there is one person that it seems like there's edited out.
yeah, there's like silence to denote a third. And then we go to the trial.
Yeah.
Veronica is being interviewed by the defense. And he's like, Veronica, your past boyfriends have been wealthy. And she's like, that's true.
Fair.
Yeah, like, have you looked around Neptune? You have two options, wealthy or not.
Yeah. We don't really see the not. We only see the wealthy.
Or like, like I guess Wallace.
Yeah. He would be in the
Weevil?
not.
In the not.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Veronica, like, aren't you basically like promiscuous? It's like basically what it is. And then he's like, aren't you undergoing treatment for an STD? And I'm like, I don't
Right.
think you can talk. Like, one, I don't think you're allowed to get someone's medical records without their consent.
Totally. And also, like, yeah, it makes her seem promiscuous, sure, so that it then backs up that she had come on to Aaron
Yeah.
in the testimony. But it seems like how this is made, it's like, well, she has an STD, so we need to invalidate her testimony. Like, she can't be telling the truth.
Yeah. So before that, she's asked about if she came on to Aaron, and she's asked if, like she idolized Lily, and if she hit on Aaron, basically, and all this stuff. And it's like, what the fuck is this narrative they're trying to paint?
Totally.
And then
That she gets around this high schooler.
But also, like, you can't discuss. I don't think you can discuss anyone's medical history without their consent.
Right.
Like, it's not like she's on trial.
No, but like, sue me.
And the fact that the judge is like, oh, like the prosecution's like objection, and the judge is like overruled, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. She's like, I want to see where this is going. This is tawdry.
Yeah. I love a good drama. Ooh, she's over 18, right? It's okay to get all involved in this.
Totally. I mean, it just lines up with everything. The
This town is so problematic.
Exactly. Well, exactly.
The
Just trying to
world
say
itself.
the court system is imbalanced.
Agreed.
And so that's why I say it makes sense that like Aaron eventually gets off. I just hate the way that we went about to this, like that they had to destroy the physical evidence to get around it. It's like, god damn it.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then does Keith get interviewed yet, or is that later?
That is a little later.
Okay. So then that's over.
Yeah.
Keith is like, "Are you good?" And she's like, "I guess so."
Yeah.
And
Veronica leaves the courtroom. Sheriff Lamb is like sitting there snickering, like, "Yes, score one for me. She has this STD."
she had an STD.
Right. Oh yeah, she finished the treatment.
She took antibiotics.
Yes. I've completed the treatment.
Yeah, they make it sound so so tawdry, and I'm like, you got a basically like a bacterial infection, and then you took antibiotics to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
The end.
It sounds like they put her in a ward, and then she was hooked up to a IV drip for 3 days, and it's all clear. But he's very excited about that. But then he gets someone that's coming to clear Terrence Cook's testimony, and it's Lobo, the casino owner.
Yes. He's like, I was with Terrence at the time of the crash, and my COO and someone else would back up this story.
Yes. I forget what the other title was, but yes. I wish we had more Lobo. I would have loved this. This guy is just chaos incarnate. Like, fantastic. I was very excited when this is how this played out.
Yeah, maybe we need a Lobo spinoff.
Yeah, maybe. Not to be confused with the DC superhero Lobo, who looks like a grunge metal Kiss.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know. He's some sort of superhero kind of thing.
And then we go do algebra.
Mm-hmm.
With Beaver and Weevil.
Weevil taking quadratic equations as a personal threat.
Well, and Beaver's a shitty teacher.
Yes.
And Weevil's like, you're not teaching me shit. I can't learn from you. And then Mac's like, here, let me jump in and help you.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, and does not know how to speak to Weevil. And Weevil is just like, seriously, you're like saying that I would only understand this, but I'm talking about car parts.
Yeah. The fact that he's like, so the way Beaver decides to teach is instead of teaching him the concept, he's like, let's change, instead of it being 6x and like 13y, it's like, let's say you had 6 spark plugs and 14 gas canisters, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yes.
So Mac,
poor man, let me tell you.
Mac jumps in, teaches him FOIL.
Yeah. Which seems like an easy place to start.
What was FOIL? For
parentheses.
That's PEMDAS.
Fuck.
Isn't like first
do not remember.
in, we're out, or I don't know. The FOIL method was lost on me. Man, algebra was a long time ago.
It was. I would do no better than Weevil on whatever test that was. And he does pretty good at the end. So there you go.
It's a mnemonic device. First, outer, and last.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, I was close.
Yep.
First, outsides, insides, last. Yeah. Whoever invented algebra, like, God bless, but also why?
Yes.
I'm sure it's useful.
Somewhere.
But so Matt comes in, saves the day, teaches Weevil algebra in exchange for him to fix Beaver's car because she still has the hots for our man Cassidy.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, I appreciate you doing this.
Mm-hmm. Even though, I still like you too, I guess. I mean, of course he does, but, weird end to that relationship.
Yeah, it just
emotionally closed off, I guess.
It does not get better. Then we go to Keith and Veronica. They're trying to find the other Bat Boys who worked for Woody because that was the only connection that they could find of Lucky.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I can never remember his name.
Lucky or Woody?
Lucky.
Okay.
But like of Lucky, between Lucky and Woody.
Mm-hmm. Two syllables. Both end in Y.
But I can't remember Lucky's name.
It's all good.
And so Keith then goes into Woody's office and he's like, "Hey, we need to talk. Like
Yeah.
I know."
But he had also Keith and Veronica were talking, and they had looked over some of the emails, and he had talked about leaving presents for Woody, and Lucky had referred to presents to
bombs as presents.
Exactly, to Logan. So then Keith is like, "Oh fuck, there's bombs."
And so he's like, "Woody, you need to have your house combed by the bomb squad, and also we need to talk because like most adults keep their hands off children, so like we need to figure out what was happening here." So a little tense there.
Yeah, 100%.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah, Keith is like, "I know exactly like what you did," and Woody's like, "Oh, like." He's like, "I saw like it was in the emails that Lucky sent to you," and he's like, "How'd you get my? Oh, Veronica, very smart of you."
Like most people don't send their child in to complete espionage for them, but Veronica marches to the beat of her own drum.
100%.
Then we go to Wallace and Jackie.
Yes.
Wallace and Jackie are going to have dinner. Jackie's going to make dinner for her man, and Daddy's home.
Yep.
Terrence comes home.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm freed." So I was surprised that they kept him at the hospital if he was healthy yet in custody.
Well, I think they were kind of extending, like he was like, "Yeah, like I still could use medical care because it's better than being in jail."
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess
that's
true.
how I perceived that.
That he's just gonna like milk it.
Yeah, like, oh, I could still use medical care on this, and they won't be able to like check in on this if I'm in jail, so it's better for me to stay here.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That was the vibe I got. Money.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
And so then
the man's got a lot of it, or does he? He's got the cars at least.
So he's home, and Wallace is like, "I'll go," and Jackie's like, "No, I want to cook dinner for my two favorite men," and I'm like, "Oh, that's cute." And then the doorbell rings. Jackie answers it. It's Lobo. And he's like, "I need to talk to your dad, but I don't know he's your dad, and I refer to you as an object because you're a girl." And then so that's how that happens.
Yeah, I know.
Demeaning and problematic. And so then Terrence goes to talk to him, and Jackie and Wallace go to the kitchen to start making dinner, and we find out that Lobo is going to basically hold the fact that he got him out of jail over his head, and he's going to make him stand in his casino and just like be a greeter and do photo ops or whatever.
Yeah, that's what he says. He's like, or
for
do
like
whatever.
A decade.
Yeah, he's like, or do whatever I need. I'm assuming because he doesn't say it, and then later Terrence is like, "It's bad business I'm in," is that he's going to have him be like hired muscle, but I don't know.
Oh, I just assumed it was more of like he has to stand here and like do photo ops and like bring people in. You know what I mean? It's like marketing.
So that's what I thought at first. But then when Terrence later is just like, I'm going to have to travel over the place. I'm not going to know where I'm going to be. Like, so there's no reason for you to stay here. It's going to be dangerous work.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's what they don't say it. So I'm making assumptions.
Yeah, I don't know. He's like,
because I don't think being a greeter at a casino is especially dangerous business.
Well, I think he's going to make him do more than that because it's you'll be wherever I put you.
Right.
But I just assumed it was like you're the face of my deals.
Right.
But no idea. And then we go to high school, back to school. Veronica's like, "Hi, Logan, let's chat. Now that you know about my STD, how you doing?"
Right. Yeah. It's been an awkward time since we last talked.
And she's like, "Did Lucky say anything about Woody?" And he's like, "Thanks for always having these strange questions for me. We never just talk."
Yeah. Nope.
And he's like, "No, but he was wearing a catcher's mitt once. I found him in the showers, and he was bleaching his feet."
Catcher's mask.
What did I say? Mitt. It's like a loofah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Catcher's mitt to clean your body.
Uh-huh.
No, catcher's mask.
Holds a lot of soap.
He's bleaching his feet, and he was in the showers at the school. And Logan's like, "Yeah, we just need a keg." And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure. That definitely isn't something you'd be like, maybe I shouldn't have this man buy the alcohol for my party."
Right, exactly. I can also see it being dumb high schooler being like, "That was weird, but like we really need beer."
We'll just it's fine. We'll just get what we need from this.
Uh-huh.
Some boy logic if I've ever heard it.
Yeah.
Y'all too dumb. That's why men shouldn't be allowed to run things.
Yeah, fair enough. Wearing catcher's mitts.
No, that's just he's a sad person. It's the asking the person.
I meant the mitt.
It's the asking the person bleaching his feet to do something for you that was the dumb move.
Yeah, totally.
And then Veronica's like, "That's fucking weird," but we move on. We thrive. We go. That's what I feel like this whole show is.
You
just
do
like,
you.
We move.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Keith on the stand.
Yeah.
And the defense just goes at him. They're like, "Are you close with your daughter?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Did your daughter date Leonardo D'Amelio?" Is that his name? D'Amelio?
Something like that.
And he's like, "Yeah." And
it's just weird hearing Leonardo.
He's like, "Yeah." And like, he get fired because the evidence was taken when she got into the evidence room and blah, 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 blah. Like everything, they really turned it around on her. And then he's like, "Did you know that Veronica broke into this house, the Manning house?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, why doesn't Keith have a police scanner?
Very true.
My grandmother had a police scanner.
That is true. Why doesn't he have one? I feel like that would be like right in the Mars tool belt.
Maybe these things weren't called in though.
It seemed like it was because Sheriff Lamb showed up. The Manning one.
Yeah, but I don't know if her name was included in that one.
Oh, right. It's just like, we got a 850 B&E at the Manning house.
Yeah, and it's like Lamb's on it, and then he takes care of it, and then it's
Right.
over. Granny used to know all the codes and like
That's awesome.
She'd be like, "Oh, yeah, that's not good. That one's not good." Ooh, that's a 911. Like everyone's going to that one.
Amazing.
Okay. Yeah, I loved it. It always made me laugh. She also had all the, you know how when they do things, they do the words for the letters, like it's like foxtrot. And
Oh yeah.
Tango. And
Charlie.
all that shit. She knew all of them. One of the strangest and funniest things in my life is that I grew up going to a household. I mean, I spent almost every day there. I went there at least once a day. That a woman she just had the police scanner on. We just casually listened.
Just your background noise.
We just kept up. Well, and the TV was on too. We were watching the news.
Local and global.
Exactly. We always joked that they used to call her before they went on the air with the 7:00 news. They needed to figure out what was going on.
Hey, Anna. It's Jake over at Channel 7.
Oh, God. She always told me, she's like, you should be on TV. You should be a newscaster. And I was like, why? It seems like you're handling it.
Right, exactly. I don't keep up the way you do.
I have to call her every day to get the news.
Right. Yeah, I've got a scoop.
Got to call my 90-year-old grandmother at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Keith is made to look like a fool, and then he gets mad at the defense because he says some scandalous things about Veronica.
Yep.
And then do we?
Oh, I was gonna say he grabs the lawyer, and then the lawyer's like, "Oh no, fine. Like, you know, no need to throw him out." So it's like rattles him enough to like fuck up the entire testimony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. And then it's back to algebra studies.
Algebra 101.
Yep.
And
with Mac Attack and the Beeve.
We've got Mac and Beaver and
yes. Why Beaver is still there, no one knows.
yeah, we don't know. We don't get it.
Yep.
And,
just to mansplain behind Mac.
And he's like, yeah, you taught that so fast that even I couldn't get it. Like, I didn't know what you were saying, and I know how to do algebra or whatever. And eventually Weevil's tired of the two of them bickering, and he's like, please teach me algebra and work out your aggression in a broom closet somewhere because I don't have time for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, thank you, Weevil. Always the adult in the scenario.
Uh-huh.
And then we cut to Keith and Veronica, and she's like, hey, Dad, I learned this thing at school. Don't worry. I was at school when I learned it. You knew where I was, and I was not breaking any laws, and there were no felonies committed. And he's like, you see how I don't find this funny? And I'm like, but it's pretty funny.
It is pretty funny.
And he's like, what'd you learn? And she's like, yeah, two of the boys from Woody's Little League team, which is it was called the Sharks. And it's in the footage that was recorded within their household that was sent to Woody that we watched a couple episodes ago. That Woody thought it was like a stalker, and then that they blamed the gardener for.
Yeah. So Veronica tells Keith about the showering with the bleach, with bleaching the feet and the mask. So then they go back over the footage
with
and
Lucky bleaching his feet.
And so they put together that the Little League team name was also called the Sharks, and that when he pans over to a specific painting, that there'd be a bomb. He thinks there's a bomb.
There's a painting of a catcher's mitt in the back, so we think there's a bomb in there. And two of the boys that were on Woody's Little League team that he coached, also called the Sharks, died in the bus crash.
Yes.
And then, so he calls in the bomb. And do they go check it then?
Yes. So then the sheriff's department goes and investigates it and finds a bomb under Woody's car.
Which is very strange because it means that it had to have been put there
a while ago. Or at least like a day or so ago.
Does he not drive anywhere during the day?
Yeah, apparently he didn't.
That's what makes me think that it's a plant, you know?
Right. It is suspicious.
It is sus.
Mm-hmm. Which would, add up to some suspicions toward the end of the episode here.
And then Jackie and her dad are talking. It's the morning. She comes out for breakfast. And she's like, you were home late last night. And he's like, yeah, I have to work late a lot now. And she's like, well, I don't care. I'm glad that you're home, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I was thinking of staying and not going to Paris so we could spend more time together. And he's like, you should go to Paris. Get out of here. Go to Paris.
Right. I'm going to be working these crazy hours and I'm not going to know where I'm going to work. So just go.
Yeah. So unlike Lauren Conrad, Jackie does plan to go to Paris. Instead of being the girl who didn't go to Paris.
Totally.
It's a big thing on the hills.
Oh, I see.
Lauren Conrad was offered to go to Paris with her Teen Vogue internship, and she stays to hang out with a boy. And Whitney goes to Paris instead.
Damn.
Love Whitney. She's the best one on that show. And you finally see someone arrive in Paris, and then you see like the blonde hair on the back of the person, and you're like, is it Lauren or is it Whitney? And then they walk out towards the manager, and it's like, oh, Lauren said no, so I have you. That's okay, Whitney. And it's like, one, Whitney knew she was second, but two, at least she went.
Exactly. She took up the opportunity. It's all right. She got the baton passed, and she's like, I'm going to run with it.
Exactly. That show, The Hills, always made me want to intern for Teen Vogue.
There you go. Yeah, Teen Vogue does good shit.
It does now. I don't think it was at the time.
Yeah, probably not.
We were talking about headbands and boys. But maybe. I feel like there was still some political stuff.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
I
don't remember.
You tell me.
I just remember looking at the clothing and being like, this is not the price bracket that I was raised in.
Right.
What is a Nordstrom? We don't have one here. Can I find this at the JCPenney? No, that was the answer. No, you cannot. No. Then what's next? I have Lucky Mayor.
Yes. So then Keith goes to Sheriff Lamb and is like, I think that Woody like planted the bombs. And Sheriff Lamb's like, you think you're gonna make me an idiot again, like by like looking into like going after the mayor? And he's like, pretty much like, Woody, don't be an ass, or not, Lamb, don't be an ass, go get Woody, because Woody's like, the two kids that died on the bus crash like were molested by Woody, and like same with like Lucky, so he's like trying to like silence people.
Yeah. I just hate Sheriff Lamb.
Yep, always the worst, always the cog in the wheel. But this plea ended up working on him, supposedly.
Yes. And then do we get Logan's testimony?
Yes.
Logan gives his testimony. He's like, yeah, my dad even smiled at the camera while they were having sex. I was granted immunity to give this testimony.
Yeah, the lawyer asks if he was granted immunity for his testimony, and he's like, yes. It's like, are you allowed to ask that?
Well, but also, like, wouldn't that just be common knowledge? If not, like, do we have
amongst the jurors?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. So yeah, that's gross and fun. And then these two boys come into the police station, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we find out that they saw whoever kidnapped Felix.
Yes. Another stupid decision that is coming home to roost.
They find a binder full of felons or convicted criminals.
Yep.
Just like Mitt Romney.
Exactly. He's got binders full of felons.
They got binders full of people. And they point out Weevil as the person that took Felix.
Yep. You just know, it's like, fuck, this ain't going to end good.
Weevil takes his algebra test. He gets a B.
Yeah.
Very proud of Weevil.
Yeah, exactly. He passed. He's graduating.
And then he gets arrested.
Weevil. Yes. Shit's gonna go down because you killed Thumper.
Yeah. Keith comes into the police station. He's like, hey, Lucky couldn't have planted those bombs because he was in a padded cell during the time where the bus crash would have happened.
Yep.
And so they send out a warrant to go arrest Woody.
Mm-hmm. And then they also find out that the jury reached a verdict.
Yeah, so Veronica's going into a final. Well, first we get the Wallace scene.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
So first Wallace comes up to Veronica. She's studying for her last final.
Scene.
And he's like, I'm going to miss you, basically. But he's like, it was worth getting taped to a pole.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss you. And she's like, my stupid face. Because that's what he tells her at the beginning.
Yep.
And then we see him outside the door when she goes in to take her final, and he pulls a fucking basketball out of his locker that like didn't fit.
I'm gonna clean out my locker, and he just like grabs a basketball.
But also like, it wouldn't be a good basketball to use because that would have deflated some. If you can put it through that hole, you deflated some of the air.
Oh yeah, this is amazing. It was just like, oh, okay, what is he getting out of there? Oh, a basketball. Okay.
Veronica gets a text that the verdict is in. She starts to try to take her test. She can't focus. Wallace, on the other hand, goes to go pick up Jackie.
Well, she leaves.
She leaves.
Yeah, which bad time to text. Don't text her.
Wallace goes to pick up Jackie. He gets there. He's like, hey, Mr. Cook, I'm here to pick up Jackie. And he's like, she's not here. And he's like, oh, cool, I'll wait. And he's like, no, she's gone. She went to Paris. And we're like, oh, cool. And he's like, she left me a note for you. So it's like, oh, great. We love that.
Yep. Here's my letter.
Yeah. And then Veronica goes to the courthouse. While Wallace is sad and reads his letter. And she is sitting next to Logan and her dad, and we find out that Aaron Echolls was found not guilty on everything he was charged with.
Yep, completely cleared. And before that, at the start of the scene, when Keith comes in, Lamb explains to him that they were trying to look up Woody was on his private plane supposedly, but the private plane logs aren't there. Like,
Yeah,
are
there's
missing.
no flight path.
Exactly. But yep, then Aaron smiles and he gets cleared of all charges. Who knew that was going to happen?
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, my most charitable read is the hey, rich people can really sway the court system. But that's not. It's people made stupid decisions along the way to allow this to happen, which sucks. Yeah. Which makes it really annoying. Yeah, just for it ends up being melodramatic and not really trying to make a point.
And then we have our final episode next week.
We do. One more episode in the season before we head off to college.
Yeah. We'll have to throw a season finale party.
Yeah.
What do we do for that?
We'll do a recap of the season.
We could make s'mores, have marshmallows.
Oh, yeah, totally. We can... I'm only coming up with really dark things to theme the party on, so I'm just going to not say those.
I'll turn a prom.
There you go. Thank you. Get my mind out of the gutter here.
Yeah, we're not recreating any of the beloved bum fight scenes.
Well, that was season 1.
Oh, true. But they come up every season.
Yes, they do.
I mean, they're awful.
We could have bowls of ice cream.
Oh, we could have bowls of ice cream. We can find that whipped cream that I want.
Yep, there you go. And a sleepover party like Gia did with all her friends.
Oh, yeah, we could have a slumber party.
Mm-hmm.
Considering we live in the same house together,
It'll just be us.
Do we not have slumber parties every night?
We do, but, just put on our footy pajamas and things.
Do you have footy pajamas?
No, but we can get some.
We have onesies. We don't have footy pajamas.
Yeah, we don't have footy. Onesies will work.
Okay.
But yeah, so then we'll have probably an extra long episode next week to cap it off.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, the season finale is a fucking lot.
Yeah.
It's not going to get happier from here.
No.
The show gets darker and worse. The next season is all about people being drugged.
Yeah.
It's like the Maybe and George Michael episode, but
over a season, yeah.
For multiple people.
Yeah, when there's all kinds of weird stuff there. So, but I think we'll have a little bit of a come down after the bombshell of that episode and do some season recap things of favorite episodes and characters and things like that we did last time. Some things we liked and some things we didn't, just to kind of cleanse ourselves of the dark takes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We'll get there when we get there next week. But yeah, I think for now we can do plugs.
You can find me when we're not talking about Veronica Mars or watching Veronica Mars or trying to figure out what happened in the last episode or rewatching that scene that I don't remember.
I'm going to show you.
I know. I mean, I trust you, but I don't remember it. You can find me on our other podcast, but really though, it's a variety podcast. Sometimes we talk about things we didn't learn in history. Sometimes we talk about conspiracy theories. Sometimes we talk about paranormal shit. Sometimes we talk about anything else that fucking interests us. It just really depends. When we're not researching or talking about that, you can find me over on butreallythough.com. Though is spelled THO. I post life and career coaching content. I am a life and career coach. I'm certified. I'm also a certified HR professional. So I'm here to help people figure out what the fuck they want to do with their lives and how to make it happen and how to, work to live instead of live to work. So all of my information is over on butreallythough.com. You can also find my blog where I post free coaching content, or my YouTube channel, But Really Though. Or if you want it in short little snippets, you can find me on Instagram at But Really Though. BTRLYTHO.
And you can find this podcast on Twitter and Facebook at Mars Rewatch. And you can also find me, excuse me, on Twitter at PyleBreton. That's PYLEBRENTON.
Stay toasted marshmallow.